Hi, everybody. It's Angel. How are you? For those of you just tuning in for the first time, welcome to my show in which we talk about everything esoteric or whatever we feel like. This is a really fun show where you get to comment and share your stories. It's more of what we call a sharing circle. And in a sharing circle, we get to talk to each other and have a really good time. The difference with our show is at the end of our show, we pick two favorite questions that have been submitted through the week, and we answer those questions. So we encourage everybody to send your questions to myshowquestions@gmail.com so we can take a look at them and see what we can do. And we do tap in during the show. We try to get to as many questions as we possibly can. So please understand that we are trying our best. It is going to be a fun show today. Today, our topic is love. Love. Love is a great topic. I actually have a song in my head. Love potion number 9. Everybody knows that. Well, okay, I'm dating myself, but everybody knows love potion number 9, who's my age. Anyway, shh, I'm not telling you. So, love. It's a really interesting topic for a psychic. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about family. We're going to talk about all kinds of different aspects and facets of love. And where this is all going to go is the topic of acceptance as you as a psychic or you as an esoteric or anybody who is an esoteric around you, because that actually can be quite difficult. So we are going to talk a little bit about self-love as well. But when it comes to love and romance, which is something everybody wants to know about, we're going to really go into that today. That is going to be very interesting. So what is love for a psychic? That's a really huge topic. And the reason it's such a huge topic is because we feel so deeply. And as children, we feel things and we don't understand who we are. So what happens is we tend to be around people and we feel their feelings. We tend to cry with them and laugh with them or for them. And it can be a very unnerving experience if a child who is a reader or an empath isn't nurtured the proper way. And when I talk about the proper way, we talk about making them feel normal, right? Allowing them to accept themselves for the beautiful weirdness that they are. And it's so funny. I say weirdness, but that's such a loose term because it really is normal to be this way. It's our way of connecting, right? Again, I've said this in many shows where our brains are only being used about 20%. So the rest of it is hugely universal and esoteric and quantum physics based and all that kind of thing so that it all connects. So basically, like I said, when a child is younger and they are seeking love and affection from their parents, it can actually be quite a confusing thing because they feel their parents so deeply. They feel everything that their parent is feeling. They feel the anger and the angst of their lives. They feel, every day when they're frustrated with them, when the parent is frustrated with the child will feel that. Like it's a really incredible thing. So it can be very confusing for a psychic child to actually be in a family situation. So when you see a child who has these tendencies, nurturing it a proper way is a very important thing. And how would you know? You'll find that these kids are incredibly sensitive. They tend to cry a lot. They tend to be over emotional. Even the boys, those are the ones who are usually teased. These kids are highly sensitive and highly psychic and highly energetic. And more than more, they're what we call empaths. And empaths are very, very tactile. They are very feel oriented. So not just touch, but they can feel from the inside. I can stand beside somebody and know if they have health issues, just by standing in their energy field. I can feel their feelings. I can feel that deeply. And that really plays into your relationships when you're older. And today's topic is actually really important because I think it's going to help a few people with their relationships tonight. I think it's going to help them understand them. And I think it's going to help partners of psychics or people who are just energetics in general, empaths in general, understand them a bit better. So if you have a spouse or a partner who is willing to watch tonight, this is a really good episode to watch. as I was growing up, it was very, very difficult for me because, again, I could feel everything. I grew up in a communal family situation. So what that means is I grew up with my grandfather and my uncle, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and my cat. And the reality is that's a big family to have in one household. And then next door, I had my aunt and her 4 children, 4 boys and a girl, 5 children. So it's a really interesting dynamic when you have all these families and family members around consistently, because there are so many energies coming at you that are familiar, and they're up and they're down, and everybody knows they have turmoil in the family and what have you, and you feel it all, and you sense it all, even if you don't know. Like, when you're very little, a lot of things are kept away from you when when parents are having arguments and things like that. It's all kept away from you, but you still know. You still know. You walk in the room and it's like being at work and you walk in when people are talking about you. You totally know it, and it sucks. Empaths feel that times 10. So when an empathic child, when a child who can feel as they grow up, who is not nurtured the proper way, in other words, they're told that you're oversensitive and you cry too much, and why can't you be in control of your feelings and grow up? That's a big one. Be a man. That's another big one. When you hear these things, it doesn't help you. It actually makes you go really very inside yourself, and you become very scared and you become very confused because you think you're doing something wrong, or there's something wrong with you. I remember one time when I was very little, my grandmother, my father's side, had passed away, and my mom and my grandmother didn't get along at all. I mean, it was a really bad scene. And so anyway, she got the phone call, and I was standing at the door, and I'll never forget it. And I remember turning around or standing there, and she said, "Your nonna," which is grandmother in Maltese, "your nonna died." And I remember trying so hard, so very hard, and this well of laughter came up from my stomach, and it came out of my mouth, and I knew it wasn't me. And I turned around, and I was facing the outside from the door, from the front door, because I had to just let it out. It was almost like I was vomiting the laugh, and it wasn't mine. And I knew, even as a child, I couldn't have been more than 8 years old, that it was my mother's. The relief and all the stuff that she'd been holding in, that the freedom and everything. And what was really, really interesting is that it scared me. Like, it really scared me. I couldn't understand. And my mother yelled at me. She really yelled at me, what are you thinking? That's your grandmother. That's this. But I didn't know. Like, it wasn't something I could control, because I didn't even realize it was mine. And I don't think my mom realized it was hers. So the reality for me is that now that I'm older, I look back and I can forgive that situation, myself and her, because I understand, because it's happened several times to me over time. But the reality is that now I get it. Now I understand. Nobody's saying hello to me tonight. I was like, comments will appear here, and I'm nobody saying hello to me tonight. Come on, people. I want to see the little likes. I want to see the hearts. And as you get older, you start to realize the connection between certain instances in your life and who you are. And I didn't like being an empath. I thought that was a really uncool ability. I thought it was like so friggin' lame. So what? I can feel other people. Oh, that's so cool. Everybody wants to see a ghost. Everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see. They don't even want to hear. They don't want to experience the other abilities that are out there, because they want to see ghosts. They want to see the reality of it. They think that is the coolest, and it is the coolest. However, here's the trick. The trick is you cannot see before you have your other abilities turned on. So when you find out what that key or core ability is, you can hone that ability, and then hearing will come, and then smell will come, and then finally sight will come. And maybe not in that order. There are people. People are joining us now. This is awesome. There are people out there whose abilities are all turned on. If you're just joining us, please just know that we are talking about love today. And we're talking about being empathic, which is the foundation of the abilities that we have to be able to feel. And when we feel so deeply in something, we actually can read better when we're open to that particular ability of feel. When we are feeling, it is a way to connect. So we are scared of that as a society. We are scared of feeling deeply. This is why a lot of people try to keep their emotions in check, because they feel so damn deeply. You'll find that a lot of people who are empathic are also people who can be very cold. because they're keeping it in check. Libras are a really good example of that because they are unconditional love. They are empaths in their truest forms. And I know ones who have like literally almost gone around the bend because they feel so hard and so deeply. And they're just amazing human beings. And I have really interesting things to say about that particular sign, because they're also the ones, the males are actually also said to be the ones who ruin their relationships more than any other signs. They're the ones who wreck their relationships. And the reason for that is because they tend to be insecure. They feel so deeply, they can feel everything that they'd rather run, or they rather sabotage, or they rather hurt before they get hurt, because they're guys, right? But we're finding a new form of Libra male now who is willing to be fearless. And if you are a Libra male who's watching, or have a Libra male in your life, please be very, very gentle with them, because they are very, very sensitive, and they're very, very, their abilities are so